Hi there, Anke Herman back again for another, happens to be again Sunday evening Facebook Live. I want to tell you something that happened with a... I'm sorry, I'm just reading what pops up on the screen here. Yeah, I want to tell you about a little story, something that happened with a client last week, which was really quite interesting and humbling and liberating at the same time. So what happened is, as soon as my group madness finished, a lot of clients called up, all the ones who I'd been telling that I couldn't talk to them until the end of June or early July. And so there was a dancer that I hadn't worked with before. And so she seemed sort of organized enough. She says, oh, she's got, how long would it take? And she's got a performance coming up. And so she's got the fabric and got her idea fairly clear. And all was going kind of, everything was smoothing, pretty smooth, until she pulled out the fabric. And there were 3 meters. And that was like pretty much half of what she really needed for the kind of outfit she had in mind. So there wasn't really much, yeah, so that was basically that. Fabric was missing, and it was a purple color, and so to find a different fabric in that same color, and she bought like a vest, something that there wasn't any more of that. And so, okay, we lost some time because she said then she was going to go and shop around and see whether she could find some more fabric of the same, and I also had a look around to see, in the shops around here, to see whether I could find something that would work to, to basically get enough material to turn it into the type of outfit she had in mind. And then she calls me or sends me a message to say that, no, she's kind of stressing out, the performance coming nearer, and she won't buy any more fabric. And I'm like, yeah, well, what are we going to do now? And so I somehow, for some reason, I had the impulse to look through my fabric stash that is quite considerable, as you can imagine. And turns out I actually found some velvet that was just spot on the right color. And so when she came for fitting, it was like, oh, okay, so you saved the day, and, was really quite happy. And so the next time she came to actually try on, so we decided how we do it, with which fabric for the jacket, which for the skirt, whatever. And so a few days later she came for a fitting, and, well, even to arrange the fitting, she sort of put her foot down in my books, because as you may know, I'm kind of outside of Granada, so for me to go into Granada is a bit of a thing. So I've started now for a couple of times to actually rent with Airbnb, a room in the center of Granada where people can come and see me. And so she knew that, and then she goes, oh, well, but I've got, I'm really busy those days. Can't you make an effort and come on Monday? And I'm like, what? I've just solved your bloody fabric problem, because you weren't going to change the color, because there were other fabrics that would have been really fantastic for what she's trying to do, but she wasn't going to move away from her color. And and I basically solved her that damn problem. And the only thing that occurs to her to say, kind of, can't you make an effort, where I felt actually I've already made more of an effort than would be reasonable to expect from me, given, even on top of it, given the fact that we don't even know each other. And so that kind of started me into this bit of a downward spiral, because, and then okay, so I basically said, well, no, nicely, but I said, well, look, I can't. And so she did come on the day that I was in town, and nothing was right, like, yeah, but this and that, and so it's like, and like talking really fast and really breathing really shallow. So you could see she was stressed, and I felt for her, because I could feel that she was getting nervous. I know dance also happens when the performance comes closer, and there seem to be more things to do than there's time to do them, then people feel freaked out, And so some will swallow it and others will let it out, you know. And the people around them basically are the ones who are taking the hit. And so I felt that was me. And so she was like, yeah, sort of a bit frantic. And she said something where I really felt for her, but at the same time I felt exhausted. She said something like, oh, you know, well, do you think it'll be, you know, in sort of half or almost done next time? We'll see, because I need this outfit to be under control, so I can breathe again. Because, you know, like it's there's all the rehearsals, and then there's the musicians, and all I said to her was like, forget about the outfit, forget about the musicians, breathe first. And I really felt for her, thinking, okay, if you really think that your well-being or your ability to breathe and to relax depends on a piece of velvet or on some musician showing up or not showing up, then it's not surprising that you're all frantic, that you're all freaked out, and that you're really stressed. And so that seemed to sort of settle her a bit, but it was almost as if I'd swallowed up that nervous energy, because she left, and then I had to, you know, had a few days to work on her order, and I didn't feel like it. I was just like, I don't know, I just didn't feel it. It cost me the world to even get going, because I had the feeling that whatever I was going to do, she wasn't going to be happy anyway. You know, because she in her mind had decided that this was complicated, that this was a hassle and wasn't what she wanted. And so pretty much I thought, well, I can't really win here. So I couldn't get in the mood. And it was not until it was like really sort of last minute that I thought, okay, you know, like if I don't start now, then I'm going to have to go to Granada and don't have anything to take. That, you know, I kind of sort of settled, and, you know, then ended up doing the jacket and doing the skirt and whatever, and had an idea of how to fix something that she didn't like, and I was kind of grumbling along, you know, and then I had to go and again, like, drive into Granada for her, and I was like, can't believe it, you know, this ungrateful well, I'm not saying the word, I thought. And so yeah, basically thinking she wasn't appreciating my work. Again, the old thing, like, I'm bending over backwards and you're not valuing it. And so I really got myself into a bit of a spin. And the turnaround came to a little extent, almost the moment I was like, I had it finished and I was ready to leave to go and see her. The thought popped into my mind. Well, not that one. What? I don't think I'll ever do a video without the dogs going crazy. So the thought that popped into my mind was, hey, and I sort of was aware while I was kind of there, and I'm like, yeah, she did this and she said that, and I sort of knew. It's like, you know, this is all happening in my own mind because she's not here. Right now, she's not saying anything. What's happening is me chewing over the things she'd said 5 days before. And so I knew that. And still, I kind of couldn't make it stop. And it was like, And all of a sudden, it popped into my mind, the good old magic questions. What if that's not true? What if she isn't taking for granted what I do for her? What if she isn't sort of trying to get more out of me now that she's seen that I'm, you know, willing to take a step towards her, and you know, why isn't, you know, the sense of, okay, I give her the little finger and she takes the whole arm. What if that isn't true? And I was like, oh. And so I went, and already with this, yeah, we'll see, it'll be interesting to see what happens. And I get there, and she's like, oh, no, thanks so much for coming. And I felt like the most horrible person, really. And so I pull out the jacket, and she goes, I love it. It's exactly what I wanted. Oh my God, thanks so much. You're my, you know, like God fairy. And you say, like, she almost kind of threw herself at me, and she puts on the skirt and she goes, it's perfect. It's perfect. She almost starts crying. And I kind of like go emotional because I felt like you could really see the whole stress. I had like 3 or 4 like stressful days, and it didn't come from her at all. And it was so obvious by her reaction. You know, she'd been stressed that day, you know. And even that had nothing to do with me. So the whole time when I was carrying on how she wasn't valuing and how this and that was all made up. And it was so obvious. It was really thrown into my face when she was like, oh, you know, I can relax now. Like that's not, I can see it now. You know, it was like we're all cruising. And so there you have it, like life happening. You know, we all get caught up in our thoughts. And then we blame other people and circumstances for it. But really, when you think about it, stress is always happening in our own minds. And which is really good news. Because that means it's thought, and thought comes and goes. And we always come back to, you know, a quieter mind. And we don't need to try and control other people or feel controlled by other people. So it's all cool. And but I felt really, it was humbling and liberating at the same time. So next time you feel stressed out about a client, a supplier, something, just remember me and see whether you can find how you can watch yourself and see how your own thoughts are creating the whole scene. So wishing you a lovely rest of the Sunday and a beautiful week ahead. Talk to you soon. Bye.